Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Content and Coffee. This session is on the importance of email sequences. And my name is Nikki Nash. And if you are new to this series, it is a Monday through Friday, about 10 to really about 15 to 20-minute conversation around content, and we pick one topic a day, usually walking away with a piece of new information or a tip, and often the whole week, so about 5 sessions in a row are themed. And this week is all about email. So yesterday we spent a lot of time around death of the newsletter. Today is email sequencing and the importance of it. And then the next 3 sessions after that, you're going to get one step into creating an email sequence. So there are 3 kind of crucial steps that I believe are important when you're creating email sequences. And you're going to go through each one of those one day for the rest of the week. And so, hello, hello. I just want to welcome you, and I really appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos, and hopefully you're continuously getting great information out of it. So, some quick housekeeping. If you are new to these videos, I do keep some notes over here to the left just to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything. I ask that you post your questions for email sequences in the Facebook group. So Fempreneur Collective, and you can use hashtag Ask Nikki Nash. We also keep posts up and running in the group so that you can just add comments and add your questions there as well. So either one of those works, and I'm just so excited to be here with you and to really continue the conversation around growing your business and making it as successful as possible and as you want it to be. So I'm going to do a quick recap on death of the newsletter yesterday, just some highlights, and then we'll move into the content for today, and then I'll let you guys go. So yesterday we spent some time talking about newsletters, as I mentioned, and one of the biggest reasons that I think newsletters are dead today is because, and not for everyone, but why they're becoming less and less relevant is because on one end, it really just ends up being like a loudspeaker of information about your business and less about information that's going to be specifically valuable to your client at a period of time. Now, I'm not saying that all newsletters are about your business, but even when you think about it, if you are just sharing a bunch of information that is relevant to your business that could be interesting to your end user, what we talked about yesterday is that a lot of times, because you could have clients or customers in various different areas or levels, you're just giving them one email and saying, hey, go figure out which piece of content is relevant to you in this email, versus sending only multiple, maybe a couple of emails, but sending them to specific people, which is what we're going to spend a lot of time today. So just 2 different mindsets versus maybe emailing a little bit less frequently, but providing a lot of information and asking the reader to kind of search through and determine which call to action is right for them, versus determining which content is right for them and which call to action, and not just giving them one piece of content, but a couple every few days to really, one, keep your brand present and really have them digest just a little bit at a time. So those are kind of some of my perspective on the differences between newsletters and email sequences. And yesterday we really left it as the newsletter is really about you asking your customers or clients to figure out which piece of content is right for them and putting all the work on them, versus email sequencing being you do a lot of the upfront work, but you're making their lives easier in the long run, and realistically you're making your life easier in the long run. And we spoke a little bit about how you can create email sequences, and wherever a person is in their business, they can you can build a funnel, which we'll continue to talk about the rest of this month, in which you're attracting people where they are. So I'm going to say this a lot more clearly if you haven't watched yesterday's video, but let's say you have a person who is, I'm going to sneeze. I can feel it coming. I think it's the lights. Excuse me. Let's say we're going to use a health example today. Let's say you have somebody who wants to lose like 50 pounds. So they're here and they want to go, like, their first step is they just want to lose the first like 10 pounds. And so you may create content that's like a bunch of content that'll get them to help them lose that first 10 pounds and get them kind of on that path to losing the first 10 pounds. And then you can also provide some offerings for your business that say, hey, if you work with me one-on-one, I can really help you stay accountable and really lose those 10 pounds. And then let's say you have somebody there, we're going to call her Susie, that wants to lose 50 pounds. Now, you may have somebody named Rebecca who's already lost the first 10 pounds and only has like 40 more pounds to go. So you may want to switch things up for Rebecca. And maybe Rebecca came to you having already lost the first 10 and is stuck and did the first 10 without you. So you have Susie here, you have Rebecca here, let's say you have Jane here who's just wants to lose the last 5 pounds. And so you can create content series that are for Jane, specific, like people like Jane that just want to lose the last 5 pounds. People like Rebecca, I think I named her, who has already lost 10 pounds and is coming to you and needs help continuing the momentum. And then somebody like Susie who's like, I got the whole realm to go. And what you can do is as more Susies come into play, you just start them here. And Susie will get a bunch of email content, and then eventually we'll get to Rebecca, and then we'll come down to, Jane. I really should write down the names that I make up. But the point is that if you spend more upfront time building email sequences, you're really adding customized value to your target audience, and they're able to come in where they are and get that content. And so some people will see maybe everything. Some people will really only see where they are to where they need to be. And we're going to spend time in later videos really talking about how you're able to even get the right person to the right email sequence. We're going to definitely spend some time there later this month. But today is really just about understanding that creating those email sequences and strategizing that upfront will really add a lot of value that seems more customizable to your target audience and will make your life easier, because instead of making newsletters every week trying to figure out like, oh, what's the latest and what's interesting, you could upfront take people from where they are to where they want to go, write a whole list of email sequences, plan them all up front, write them out, and then make it so that, yeah, you probably will need to send out a broadcast email or one email that's just like, hey, here's what's going on. Here's, our Black Friday sale, or I read this really interesting article and I think it would be relevant wherever you are and I want to share information about it or my take on it. You can absolutely do that, but what you're also doing is making sure that the content that your audience is getting is really customized and is made for them. And so that's why I'm such an advocate of email sequencing versus doing newsletters. I'm not saying that there isn't a time and a place for newsletters, but I'm speaking specifically those of you that are watching this that have, a coaching business or a consulting business or something where you're really could have different types of clients for your service-based business, and you're really helping them get from one point to another with your services and with your free content and things like that. So that is a bit about a little bit about what we spoke about yesterday, adding building upon it a little bit more, but really getting you to the point where you're like, okay, I get it. Here's the purpose of or how I can use email sequencing. So today we're going to speak a little bit about why they are important, and then we're also going to talk a little bit about how you can start strategizing creating content for your email sequencing before we get into the steps of how to actually do it tomorrow. And trust me, in one of the steps it's all about planning all of this out, so I'm just going to drop some little things for you to think about today, and then keep watching the rest of the videos and you'll really be able to start creating email sequences on your own. So the importance, and if you haven't heard this from me before, I'd be shocked, and it would be mainly because this is your first video and I haven't said it yet. But the number one thing that I have people do whenever they're working for any type of business, selling any sort of product or service, it really doesn't matter, but it's really all about your dream client or your target audience. That is like your number one priority, and your number one priority is really getting to know them and really understanding how your products and services can add value to their lives. And from there, you're really able to grow your own business by serving them. And that is like a fundamental philosophy that I just believe in. I've seen a lot of success, not just with myself, but with others, really when you're focusing on those that are actually going to be giving you money in exchange for your products or services. So you really should focus on adding value to their lives. So that being said, when you're creating email sequences, and why they're so important is that everybody, for the most part, has email. And yes, we get bombarded. Yes, we get a lot of it, but it's on our phone, it's on our computers, it's pretty much everywhere, and we do check it as people, like people typically check their emails. Now the real trick is, you may be thinking, yeah, but people get so many, email marketing is dead. But the reality is that if I am going through my email and there is a killer title or subject line, and I'm like, oh my god, I need to read this, and it's coming from somebody I trust and know from other content that I've seen from them, I'm gonna open it because I know that there's going to be some value in there that I can walk away with. And so one of the reasons why email sequences are so important is because you have multiple instances to have like really killer subject lines, really amazing content in the actual email that adds value to your target audience and gets them to choose your email over some others, because a lot of times we're constantly signing up for free things or getting all these emails, and so you really want to make sure that yours stands out and goes into the, oh my goodness, I must read this right now, or I must read this every day because it's going to help me grow my business, versus, oh my goodness, it's just their normal newsletter, I'll scan it and see if there's a sale, and otherwise I'll just delete it, that sort of a thing. So emails sequences are really important because they allow you to get in front of your target client or your dream client multiple times in like a week, a month, a year. Like, you're just really staying present in their lives, and you're constantly adding value. Now, specifically for those of you that are offering products or services that are a pretty penny, it takes time for people to want to invest in you. People aren't going to go, oh, you know what, thank you so much for that one piece of free content, here's $10,000. It's probably not going to happen that way. They're probably going to watch videos you've created, read your emails, do some things in which they're really feeling like they're actually getting a lot of value from your free content before they're willing to invest in money. And so if you think about how much time, it's kind of like, it's like dating and getting married. It's like you kind of want to date someone and really feel like you are committed to them and love them and feel and are into them before you say, you know what, yeah, let me commit to being with you for the rest of my life. Like, a lot of times, you may want to get to know the person first. And it's very similar with business. It's like you want to get to know someone a little bit before you're like, yes, I trust you with helping me grow my business, and I'm going to give you money that I have right now that it really needs to work, because if it doesn't work with you, like working with you doesn't add value to my life, whether it's like growing their business or their health or something, then it's an investment that they're going to be disappointed in. So really, the value that you can give to your clients and potential clients ahead of time for free. And I'm not saying like, oh, give them everything so that they don't need you, but understanding that you are an expert in your craft, and we've definitely covered this previously, so watch some earlier videos, but you're the expert and you have way more knowledge than the people that you're looking to attract do. And so you have so much knowledge, in fact, that like even in all of your paid products and services, you probably don't have everything that you know about that topic or industry or whatever it is that people are coming to you for, all wrapped up in your products and services. So you are most likely more than willing to give somebody a tip that will add incredible value to their life. And for you, it's like, oh, well, that won't make you not want to work with me if I tell you, to create email sequences. It's not like, it's not like this novel thing where it's like, oh, well, that's the only reason why I would have worked with you, and you just gave it to me for free. So, why bother? It's really much more about, hey, I'm continuously adding value to your life so that when we do work together, or if we do work together, and this is me being you for business, kind of the mindset you should have is you give enough content away for free so that if the person decides to work with you, they're at a stage where like, okay, you already got like the basics, like you're at a level where we can really move quickly and you can get the results you want even faster because you are already in a space of commitment and you have already like got some knowledge in these areas, and we can actually have a conversation. So for example, if it's health, sorry, I don't know, I think this sweater is a little itchy or something, don't mind me. But if you are in health and you have somebody who has been following you and has really been like taking on, the grocery shopping tips that we talked about in an earlier series of getting some free information from you, and they're really taking it on, then you know that they're committed, and that they trust you and they have a relationship with you. And so if they trust you, they have a relationship with you, they're already following their content, then you don't have to start from like, oh gee, I hope this client will at least listen to me when I ask them to go to the grocery store and buy like foods that are gonna be really valuable to their diet. You already are like, oh, I don't need to worry about that. We already got that covered because they've been following my content, they've been doing it, they've taken it on. They maybe even lost the first like 2-3 pounds just based off of my free content. So now I can work with them really one-on-one and get them where they want to go, and we can move at a faster pace because like the basic things that make life easier for the journey that they're going on, they've already mastered, and they've used my free content to do it. Isn't that amazing? And if that's the mindset you have when you're creating these email sequences and these free content, it's just magical, because you're able to bring some of your potential clients to a level where they're like going to just accelerate when they work with you, and it's just going to be you're going to get them results that they didn't even know that they could have in the time that they wanted, because you've already prepped them for being at a great place. And so when you're able to do that with email, you just basically look at the journey, and it's like, I do this thing a lot. And the reason why you may be like, Nikki, you do this thing in so many videos, is because it's literally like the secret sauce. If you just spend your time going, here is where my dream client is, here is where they want to go, and you map out their journey to get there, and on part of those journeys it's free content, that's basically the secret sauce of growing a business. And that is honestly what email sequencing is. It's you going, I want to get my client from point A to point B for free with email and some other guides and resources and content, and I just want to get them there. And they may choose to work with me, they may not, but those that do choose to work with me will be able, like, getting them, once they got here, getting them from here to here will be a breeze, because they've already committed here to here without me, and they've been really committed. And maybe it was like really challenging for them, but they did it anyway, and I know that they're dedicated. So I know that when I tell them to do 50 squats at the gym, I know they're going to do it because they're committed to getting where they want to go, and they've already also seen some success. So like being able to provide your clients with some success just based off of emails and things like that, free videos ahead of time, really magical. So that is the importance of email sequencing. Some of the things that we're going to continue to talk about is how you make these emails anticipated. So it's not just like, okay, you're providing content that gets people from point A to point B. You're making it so that they're like anticipating, like, oh God, I can't wait until Nikki's next email. The last one had so much value. You're making it so that it's really relevant to them. That's like the big thing that we've spoken about. You're making it so that they find it valuable, and they're like, wow, these emails, I'm excited to get them. They're really relevant to where I am now. I really value them. I look at the headline and I'm like, that they're speaking to me. We're gonna speak for the next couple of days about how you do that in such a way that folks will continuously open your emails, get some free advice from you, really feel like they're connected with you, and then you can propose. Then you can extend that invitation to work with you. You really get folks to a point where it's like, okay, I feel like I've gotten to know you. I know what you're all about. I get a sense of who you are. The content you've given me so far has been valuable. And yeah, now I'm willing to at least entertain an invitation of working with you. And they may say no, they may say yes. Either way is fine. But it's the point that I'm making here is that email sequencing is a way for you to build a relationship with your dream client so that you can create an invitation for you two to work together, or three, or groups, or however you want to do it. So that's the importance of email sequencing. Again, email sequencing is not the only way you build a relationship with clients before you extend that offer, but it is something that really does work and makes a lot of sense, especially if you are a consultant or a coach, because your clients have email, they're looking at them. If you keep the email short, sweet, and they get a tip out of it, if they know that every time they read your email, they're going to walk away with something that they can implement in their business, or they can look at something a new way, or they can like take on that secret sauce that you're giving them, they're gonna just love you, and I promise you, it's gonna be really exciting for them to receive those emails if you're constantly adding value to their lives. So that is the gist of what we're talking about today. Again, tomorrow we're going to go through the 3 steps that get you to creating. Sorry, I just wanted to check one other thing. But the next 3 videos essentially would be on taking you step by step to creating an email sequence so that by the end of this week you can go off and start creating one. The idea is at the end of each video, be prepared to go, okay, I'm going to take that one step on because it'll make everything so much faster. Or you can say, hey, I watched it, I got the gist of it, I'm going to rewatch it and then take on the assignment. So that's the goal for the rest of the week. I want you guys to be able to create an awesome email sequence for your dream clients. And that is the gist. Now, one other thing that I will say is for those of you that don't know my story from a career standpoint, I spent a little over 10 years working for other people, specifically corporate. So I worked at Intel. I worked at an ad agency where my client was Kraft. I worked at InStyle and Travel and Leisure magazine. I've been like working for other people. I interned at Coke. And then I left corporate and worked in startups. And so I worked at a startup. I consulted startups. And essentially I got to a point where I realized that I wanted to work for myself, and I wanted to like kind of break free of all the jobs that I was looking for meaning. And then what ended up happening is I felt like, my soul was being sucked, as I like to say. And it just was like it just wasn't right for me. So I say all that because if that is you, if you're like, hey, I want to leave my soul-sucking job, or I want to work for myself, or I want to be able to build my own online or service-based business where it's coaching or consulting, or you're a stylist or any of those things, I totally feel you, and I get where you're coming from. And content is honestly one of the best ways for you to attract those clients you're looking to work with, and to really make a difference in their lives and make a difference for yourself. So all of that being said, yesterday I opened up a few slots to do a consulting or coaching session with me. It's 30 minutes. It's really around content. I'm going to read you really quickly what will happen, like what the 3 takeaways of these sessions are. So I'm going to give you the steps I use to create 3 pieces of content in like an hour, so that I know you're busy, especially if you have another job, you can just be like, bam, got that. The secrets that I use to become masterful at writing content that really attracts my dream client. And when I say writing, it's just like creating. So it may not always be in the form of blog posts or things like that, but just creating content. And then the last is really just tips that I use to continue to build your confidence and being able to create content that really attracts your dream clients and add value to their lives, even when you're having those like realities of, but nobody's clicking and nobody's reading, but like you'll just feel confident that it will work and it will come. And then you can start being able to not look at anything as being wrong, but just something could be missing. And so being able to add that back in. So those are the 3 things that I'm speaking or working with folks on this week. Again, I had 3 sessions that I was giving away. They went pretty quickly, and then I had people message me saying that they wanted more. So what I've done is I've opened up more slots. So if you are interested in, hopping on the phone with me for 30 minutes, we'll talk about your business and really start mapping out really quickly content strategy and how you can actually write a few pieces of content. You'll walk away at the session with a draft of a piece of content, and those 3 things that I mentioned before, you'll understand like how I can write 3 pieces of content in an hour. You'll get a gist of how you can create content that'll attract your dream client, and also how you can keep staying present and excited and at least accomplishing creating content even when you don't want to, or you have a ton of reasons that it's not going to work. So that is the gist. We're going to do a lot in 30 minutes. There will be things that I send out in advance. So sign up. The link is in this Facebook group. I also have a bit.ly. Let me just, it's bit.ly, whoops, bit/ okay, it's bit.ly/content with a capital C, mastery with a capital M, and then CC. So I'll put the link at the end of this video so that you have it as well, or in the comments. And I love you guys lots. That's what I've got for today, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.